The Bering Sea is renowned for its treacherous waters and abundant seafood. The Alaska king crab fishery is an adrenaline-fueled endeavor where brave fishermen battle icy winds, towering waves, and colossal king crabs. Here's what happens when those pots come up. Setting the stage, the F.V. Bering Star, a sturdy crab vessel, sets sail from Dutch Harbor, Alaska. Its crew includes seasoned fishermen and perhaps even a few robotic helpers. These pots are no ordinary traps. They're heavy-duty, steel-framed containers designed to withstand the sea's fury. Deploying the pots, the crew strategically places the pots on the ocean floor, targeting prime crab habitats. Each pot is baited with irresistible treats, fish heads, squid, and other delicacies, to lure the majestic king crabs. Waiting and anticipation. As the pots rest on the seafloor, anticipation builds. The crew monitors the depth, currents, and weather conditions. The sea holds its secrets, and the pots hold their bounty. Hauling up. The moment arrives. The pots are hauled up. The hydraulic winches strain against the weight. The crew's muscles ache as they pull the pots onto the deck. The suspense is palpable. What lies within? King crab extravaganza. The pots reveal their treasures. Massive red king crabs, their spiky legs waving defiantly. These crustaceans can weigh up to 20 pounds each. The crew sorts them, discarding undersized crabs and keeping the giants. Robotic assistance. Imagine robotic arms assisting the crew, efficiently sorting and measuring the crabs. These mechanical helpers ensure accuracy and speed, making the process more efficient. Life on the Bering Star, the F.V. Bering Star becomes a bustling hub. The galley smells of fresh crab, and the crew works tirelessly. They tag the crabs, record data, and prepare for the next haul. The life cycle of king crabs. Now, let's explore the life cycle of these magnificent creatures. Eggs and larvae. Female king crabs release thousands of eggs into the water. These hatch into planktonic larvae, drifting with ocean currents. Molting and growth. As they grow, the larvae molt several times. Each molt reveals a larger, more robust crab. They feast on plankton and small organisms. Juvenile stage. After several molts, the crabs settle on the seafloor. They become juveniles, scuttling along the ocean bottom. Survival is tough, predators lurk, and food is scarce. Maturation. Over the years, the crabs molt repeatedly, growing stronger. Their exoskeleton hardens, and they become adults. Males develop larger claws, while females focus on egg production. Migration. Adult king crabs migrate to deeper waters during mating season. Males compete fiercely for females, using their massive claws as weapons. Reproduction. Successful mating leads to egg-bearing females. They carry the fertilized eggs attached to their abdomen until they hatch into planktonic larvae, starting the cycle anew. The F.V. Bering Star's crew, both human and robotic, braves the elements to bring us these delectable king crabs. Their story is one of resilience, teamwork, and the relentless pursuit of nature's bounty. So next time you savor a succulent king crab leg, remember the epic journey it took, from the depths of the Bering Sea to your plate. How crab pots work. Crab pots are ingenious devices that capitalize on a crab's instincts to trap itself. Here's how they operate. The cage, imagine a cube-shaped wire mesh trap, designed specifically for catching blue crabs. The mesh holes are about an inch in diameter, perfect for ensnaring these crustaceans. The cage is moldable, allowing adjustments as needed. Bait and entrapment. The crab pot lures crabs with irresistible bait, fish heads, squid, or other delicacies. Strategically placed openings allow crabs to enter but prevent their escape. Once inside, the crabs find themselves trapped. Seafloor placement. Crab pots are set on the ocean floor, where crabs forage for food. Choosing the right location, flat, sandy-bottomed riverbeds or seabeds, is crucial. Seaweed-free spots work best. Crab instincts. Crustaceans explore the seafloor, seeking sustenance. When they encounter the pot, curiosity leads them in. Once inside, they can't find their way out due to the mesh design. Commercial king crab pots. Now, let's focus on the specific process of catching king crabs commercially. Design and material. Commercial king crab pots are large rectangular steel boxes with nylon mesh. They come in various shapes, tailored for different crab species. These pots withstand the harsh conditions of the Bering Sea and other icy waters. Setting the scene. Commercial vessels deploy these pots in prime crab habitats. Crews strategically place them on the seafloor, often using robotic assistance. The pots are baited, and the waiting game begins. Hauling up. When the time comes, hydraulic winches pull the pots to the surface. The crew's muscles strain as they hoist the heavy containers onto the deck. The anticipation builds. What treasures lie within? King crab extravaganza. The pots reveal massive red king crabs, their spiky legs waving defiantly. Sorting begins. Undersized crabs are discarded, while the giants are kept. Robotic arms assist, ensuring efficiency. Life cycle. Understanding the king crab life cycle is crucial. From eggs and larvae to maturation and migration, these creatures follow a fascinating journey. From ocean depths to your plate, the FV Bering Star's crew, both human and robotic, braves the elements to bring us these delectable king crabs. Their story is one of resilience, teamwork, and the relentless pursuit of nature's bounty. Remember, the next time you savor a succulent king crab leg, you're enjoying the result of an epic journey, from the depths of the Pacific Ocean to your plate. A common thing most newbie crabbers fail to understand is how a crab pot functions. Knowing this won't only make you a more knowledgeable crabber, but it will also make you realize how to make certain adjustments to up your chances of catching a crab dinner. So, how do crab pots work? Crab pots work by using the crab's instincts to trap itself. It lures the crab with bait into the large cage through strategically placed openings that they can enter, but cannot escape. But how do the openings work? Why can't the crabs just leave the cage? How does this help me catch more blue crabs? Let's dive into these questions and more. That cube-shaped mess of wire above is a recreational crab pot. It's designed to trap blue crabs, and used in calmer waters such as rivers, canals, etc. It may seem confusing looking at the entire thing, I get it. Let's go over each and every part inside and outside of the crab trap to fully understand how it works. With the holiday season coming around, I put together a gift guide for anyone who loves to go crabbing. I was tired of generic crabbing gift ideas with a graphic of a crab on a mug or t-shirt. Instead, I wanted to make a list of what a crabber actually needs and will end up buying themselves. If you're interested, read my article, Gift Ideas for Crabbers, Stuff They'll Actually Use. One thing you might notice about this trap is how small the wire mesh is. The holes are about an inch in diameter, the perfect size for catching blue crabs.
This is a fish dish that not only Japanese people but also foreigners come to eat. Tuna is served on the dining table on special days and ordinary occasions. Do you want to learn a little about tuna, which is so obvious that you probably don't know much about it? Read on and enjoy delicious tuna. Tuna is a migratory fish belonging to the mackerel family. A large fish is up to 3 meters long and weighs about 400.
If you are after Dungeness crabs, a type of crab that grows to be much larger than most blue crabs, you would buy a cage with a larger, more durable wire mesh. You might not be able to tell from just the picture, but the mesh is flimsy and moldable. If I wanted to, I could form and shape the cage as I could with chicken wire. This will come in handy later. This is a big step down from the oversized crab traps you see on Deadliest Catch. This is because the crew on the TV show is on the Bering Strait, a stretch of icy water that divides Russia and Alaska. There the species of crabs are much larger, sometimes reaching a carapace length of 11 inches.
It is said that it has been eaten in Japan since the German period, when bones were excavated from the ground. Since then, most of it has been thrown away and is called Sibi equals Day of Death. Because preservation technology
that is twice the size of a blue crab. Because of this, the cage needs to be much larger than our puny 2 feet by 2 feet by 1 foot crab trap, which is actually one of the larger blue crab pots. The crab pots on Deadliest Catch weigh 700 pounds and measure 7 feet by 7 feet by 3 feet. The key takeaway here is to know what size mesh you should buy. If you're on the West Coast, purchase a trap with a larger and thicker wire mesh. This will withstand the size and strength of Dungeness crabs. If you're on the East Coast, you can get away with buying a trap with smaller, less durable wire mesh because blue crabs are much weaker than Dungeness crabs.
168,000 tons. Topping the list is Shizuoka Prefecture, followed by Miyagi Prefecture in second place. 2016, Yezu Fishing Port in Shizuoka Prefecture ranks first among fishing ports. By the way, Kishu Katsura Fishing Port in Wakayama Prefecture has the highest volume of fresh-caught tuna that has never been frozen. 2014, looking at the world's tuna catch...
I've spent hundreds of dollars on crappy crab traps to get to the gear I'm happy with and use to this day. So, I know a thing or two about which traps you should use for Dungeness and blue crabs, and which you should avoid. If you want to learn from my mistakes and avoid wasting money on junk traps, I recommend you browse my recommended gear page. You probably noticed the bright yellow rings near the opening of the crab trap. They might not seem like much, but these are very important to have on a crab trap.
Bluefin tuna from Aomori Prefecture was sold for 36.45 million yen, or 90,000 yen per kilogram. The previous highest amount was 155.
Also known as an escape ring, these 2 5/16" rings, 4 1/2 if you're after Dungeness crabs, save you valuable time and helps the crab population. Also, you're most likely going to be fined if caught using a crab pot without a cull ring in most US states. Check with your state's crab pot regulations for more information. It's designed to allow small crabs to escape your trap and leave more run for bulkier, meatier crabs.
Many of you may have heard about it on the news. Countries continue to compete for tuna to eat as food and tuna to sell as a high-value product. Eat well and stay healthy. The power of tuna.
This saves time while harvesting, giving you fewer crabs to measure. Various studies show that a 2 5/16 inch cull ring is very effective in releasing crabs less than 5 inches, which is the current minimum size in Maryland. Source. The only con to this is female crabs of legal size are more likely to escape. This shouldn't be a problem unless you live in a state where catching females is legal, such as South Carolina. You may see in the photo that my string is thin and short, no longer than 10 feet. I do most of my crabbing in a shallow canal, where a long rope is not necessary. Check with the water depth where you plan on going crabbing. You want a length of rope 15 feet longer than the depth of the water to account for high tide. If you were crabbing in the bay or a river, you would need a thick, durable rope and a very noticeable marker. This is especially important in large, public water. The latch on my trap is very makeshift. It's just one corner of the cage mesh that isn't bound together. It locks with a hook on the end of a bit of parachute cord clipped to some rope. On other traps, this might be a hinge door or something similar. Every good crab pot has one, and it makes harvesting your crabs much simpler. Now we're getting down to the more important features of the trap. Let's look into how a crab pot lures crabs and keeps them in the cage. This is the second most important part of a crab pot, bait being the most important. The opening allows crabs to easily enter the crab trap, but not be able to leave. This is because to the ingenious shape of the leads. Let me show you a close-up picture. The opening starts low to the ground where the crabs can easily start to enter. From there it's a steady slope upwards until it abruptly ends. It's not a long drop, but one large enough for the crabs to be unable to climb back out the way they came. You'll find this is the case for most crab pot entrances for the majority of commercially harvested crab species. It's cheap, simple, and very effective. My crab trap is a little different than most traps because it has leads on the inside of the trap. Let me show you a picture. Just above the bait box, there are two more leads that access the top compartment of the crab trap. This is where the design of the trap truly outdoes itself. It uses the crab's instincts to work against it. When the crab realizes they're stuck after crawling through the two openings, it tries to swim upwards away from harm. The only way up is through these two openings into the parlor. Once they squeeze through, they can't physically fit back through the openings. The crab is officially trapped and will wait there until you come to harvest your crab pots. The bait box is the most important part of the trap. If there's something wrong with the bait, nothing in the trap works. Most crab pots come with a built-in bait box. Otherwise, recreational crabbers purchase one separately and attach it to the cage with zip ties. What you stuff it with is entirely up to you, it just needs to be something meaty and smelly. Raw chicken does wonders, and so does raw fish. You can get creative with squid, clams, bull lips, and even cat food. Just make sure the meat is smelly, not rancid, and tough. You want to appeal to the crab's sense of smell and last a few days while being feasted upon by an endless amount of crabs. My bait box is as simple as it gets. A medium-sized cylinder with a small hatch to cover one end. It's held tight under a small piece of paracord and stays tight until I refill it. That's it. That is exactly how a crab pot works in extreme detail. Let me know if I missed anything below in the comments. Still curious about crabbing with a crab pot? I made a step-by-step guide that makes using the trap simple and enjoyable. Most crab pots come with a tiny bait cage where you can add a variety of baits, including chicken, fish, or other oily meats. If your trap did not come with one, you can purchase one on Amazon or from your local bait and tackle shop. It's recommended that you leave crab pots to soak for 6 to 36 hours, depending on how soon you want your crabs. With enough bait inside the trap, it can last for days at a time. Just be sure to make sure there is enough, otherwise, the crabs might eat one another. I created a whole article tackling this question, which you can read here. If you buy live hairy crabs, boil them in about 5% salt water, enough to cover the crabs, 50 g salt per liter. When boiling, add the crabs. After putting the crabs in, boil again and measure the time. Boil 500 grams hairy crabs for about 20 minutes, 800 grams crabs for about 25 minutes. After boiling, soak the hairy crab in cold water to cool down and you're done. Live hairy crabs taste better if boiled instead of steamed. Boiled or frozen crabs can be steamed to reheat. If you buy boiled hairy crab, you can eat it raw, but if you want to eat it while it's still warm, you can steam it for about 20 minutes and the crab will return to its freshly boiled state so you can enjoy it deliciously. Besides sandbai vinegar and ponzu, the best way to eat it is with mustard and soy sauce. Tip: a long time ago, more than 40 years ago, when hairy crab was not as high class as it is now, sushi restaurants in Hakodate City had hairy crab nigiri sushi. I put wasabi on the sushi rice, placed the thick part of the hairy crab leg on top, and then wrapped the seaweed in a strap. If you buy frozen hairy crab, the best way to eat it is to steam it and reheat it instead of letting it defrost naturally. If left unfrozen for a long time, it will taste similar to freshly boiled food. If you buy live red king crab, boil the crab in 3% salt water, 30 grams salt per liter, just enough to cover the crab. When the crab boils, add the crab. After boiling the crab again, measure the time. Boil 1.5 kilograms of red king crab for about 20 minutes, 2 kilograms of king crab for about 25 minutes. After boiling, soak the red king crab in cold water to cool down and you're done. Cut off the grilled king crab legs and grill on a gas or charcoal stove until golden brown. Also, if you use a hot plate, it will be steamed. For the crab cooking pot, wash the crabs, cut them into pieces and put them directly into the pot. Crab hot pot made from live king crab is amazing. When reheating boiled king crab, the best way to eat it is to steam it and then reheat it. If steamed for about 20 minutes, you can enjoy the freshly boiled taste. Frozen red king crab and frozen legs taste best if you steam them in a steamer while still frozen, rather than letting them defrost naturally. If you defrost naturally, the crab's flavor will come out. If you buy live snow crabs, boil them in 3% salt water, similar to red king crabs, using more water than covers the crab, 30 g salt per liter. After boiling, add crab. After adding the crab, boil again and boil, about 15 minutes for 800 grams of snow crab, about 20 minutes for 1 kilogram. Once the crab is boiled, soak it in cold water to cool down and you're done. For the crab cooking pot, wash the crabs, cut them into pieces and put them directly into the pot. Crab hot pot made from raw snow is amazing. When reheating boiled crab, the best way to eat it is to steam it and then reheat it. If steamed for about 20 minutes, you can enjoy the freshly boiled flavor. Frozen snow crab and frozen legs will taste best if you steam them in a steamer while still frozen, rather than letting them defrost naturally. If you defrost naturally, the crab's flavor will come out.